Hey guys, it's Zach from the Concon channel, and in this video I'm going to show you how to get the Graviton Spike exotic hand cannon in Destiny 2 Edge of Fate. Now the first prerequisite in order to actually unlock the exotic quest is you'll need to finish the Edge of Fate campaign. Once you finish the campaign, it'll ask you to come to the Altar of Relativity, and you'll then get the exotic quest called the Graviton Through the Ages. Once you've done that, it's then going to ask you to speak to Lodi, which will be indicated on your minimap. And then you'll need to speak to Emeritus by the altar. Once you've done that, the next quest step is to triangulate the location of the weapon piece using the Rosetta device in the outer steps. Now, if you just go ahead and open up your minimap, you should be able to see that location right over here, and you can just add a waypoint to get there and fast travel to the stacks. Once you're in the area, you can then just follow the destination markers, as this is going to take you to the general area where you'll need to be. Once you do that, you're going to come to this spot right here, and now you'll need to get this matter, and this will help you get across this section. Once you get to this area, you should find that there's going to be a Minotaur here called the Rosetta Sentry. You'll now need to go ahead and take it out. Once you've taken out the Rosetta Sentry, you should see this device over here, and after defeating it, you should be able to interact with it. This is then going to activate the next step of the quest, which is to acquire the weapon piece. Once again, it's then going to show you on your map where to go, and it's going to be right here at the back end of the area. So then you can just follow me along the path. Once you reach this area, you should see that there's going to be this building almost hanging off this mountain. Now what you need to do is activate your Matter Spark. Now once you actually complete the campaign, you'll be able to activate Matter Spark no matter where you are, just by simply pressing in your touchpad and holding in square like you would summon your sparrow. So now what we're going to do is actually shock this little charge right over here, this pylon. And then we're going to take this little pad, and it's going to pretty much shoot us where we need to be to get to our next pylon. So we're going to activate Matter Spark again and charge this one up. And then we're going to go through this hole onto the other side. And once we get here, this is where the third one will be. Once you've done that successfully, the doors will then open into the building, and you can then go ahead and acquire the weapon piece. Once you've done that, you can head back to Emeritus at the altar and speak to him. And now the next step in the quest is to triangulate the location of the weapon piece using the Rosetta device in the Gorge. Now once you're on that quest step, once again, a search area will be placed on your map, so you can just add a waypoint there and then fast travel to the nearest point. Once you're in that area, you can then just follow towards the destination marker. And then you'll need to get this matter weave right over here and throw it against the wall to head on through. Once you get to the area, you'll see that you'll once again have to defeat the Rosetta Sentry Minotaur. And once you do so, right on this little piece of, like, I don't know what you want to call it, there will be the computer you'll need to interact with. Once you've done that, you can then follow along through to the next objective, which will be slightly just down the path. So we take a look at our map, it's going to be right over here. And don't forget to mark it just to make it easier to follow. Once you get to this point, you'll need to then summon your Matter Spark and head through this little hole. And then you're going to get to this other side. As soon as you come out of the hole, you'll see that there's actually going to be a Matter Spark right here to your right. But now you need to actually jump across to this wall. You're then going to go back into your Matter Spark, and through the path you'll then follow, and you'll come out here once again. You then want to go out of your form, and there will be this matter weave you can pick up. So you're going to pick that up. And then if you just take a look behind you from almost where you came, you're going to see that there is this little hole here. You need to then throw the matter weave and change back to the matter spark. And now you're just going to follow along through with your matter spark. And then you're going to come in here, take a right, and then use the matter weave, and then go through again with your matter spark. And once you're inside, you'll then get the weapon piece that you need to acquire. Once you've done that, you can then fast travel back to Caldera and talk to Lodi. Once you've done that, the next quest step is to triangulate the location of the weapon piece using the Rosetta device in the Exile's Accord. Once again, just open up your map, look for the waypoint, which is going to be all the way on the right, and then fast travel to the nearest area. Once you're here, you can just follow my lead. And what you're going to do is when you come to this portal, you're going to activate your matter spark and head on through. You're then just going to follow along over to the right and go towards the exotic marker. And in here will be the next Rosetta Sentry you'll need to then take out. Once you've taken out that Rosetta Sentry, in the same room is going to be the terminal you need to interact with. And once you've interacted with the terminal, you can now head back. So I'm just going to go into my matter spark as it's easier to do. And now we need to head back through that portal we came through, and now we need to move along forward, and we're actually going to end up going through this train right over here. Once you're through, you'll see that here is going to be the weapon piece we need, and then we can go ahead and pick that up for our new quest step. You can then head back to Emeritus and talk to them to complete the quest step. Now, the next part of this quest is to collect Vex Data Fragments. Now, this is going to be pretty simple, as you'll see that when you come back from the main area, you'll see that there's always going to be these Vex enemies fighting here. So you can go ahead and take these guys out for some Vex Data Fragments. If you defeated all of those ones, if you just move further ahead just into this little area down here, you'll find that there will also be some more Vex in here. And occasionally you'll have this box spawn in, and if you activate this energy pulse, it'll spawn in a whole bunch of Vex, like a mini public event, and then you'll even have a boss at the end of it. So this is also a really good way of farming these Vex Data Fragments. Once you've completed it, it should be pretty quick with the method that I showed you and all the enemies in the area. Now, once you've completed that step, you'll then need to find the lost apartment of external observations weapon piece within the search area. So you can then go to your world map, and then you'll see it's going to be here in the top right, and then you can fast travel to the Ionian campus. Once you're here, there's going to be quite a lot of Vex enemies, but essentially you're just trying to get through this door. Now you'll obviously need to just destroy these yellow little machines so that you can unlock the door. There's going to be 3 of them, 2 at the front, and then the 3rd one at the back. Once you've done that, you can then input the code into the device, and then you can head on through. So once you get into this next area, all you need to do is straight after you come out of this tunnel, you're going to head towards the back left of the area, which is over here. And you'll see that once we see into the inside of this little compartment, there's actually going to be a matter weave here. Now, this matter weave is going to be used on the crane that's in the middle of the area. So what you need to do is just jump somewhere, throw the matter weave like that. And now you'll need to get the relocator cannon, and you're going to go back to the tunnel from where you came. The reason for this is that if you didn't notice, there's actually a little gap in between this wall where you'll need to use the relocator cannon. And once you hit it, the teleporter will then activate back here. And then as soon as you come out of the teleporter, the weapon piece will be right on the floor. Once you've done that, you can then fast travel back to Caldera and talk to Lodi for your next quest step. Now, the following quest step is going to be to assemble the weapon using the Sieve. Now, this Sieve is an activity that only spawns in periodically as seen in the text. So if we go to our world map, you'll see that the Sieve is going to be in the center of the map. Now, it is available periodically. So as you can see, my Sieve is available for the next 6 minutes. But if it's not available, it will say that the Sieve will be available and it will give you a timer until it's available. So if it's available for you, you can then click on it and then you can launch the game mode. So once you're in the game mode, what you need to do is head to the altar here. And pretty much this is where you're going to rally the banner for some ammo. And then you're going to need to pick up the drill. They have already done it, my fire team. And we're pretty much going to have to place it down here where the marker is. So once we're here, we're going to then deploy the mine. And once it's deployed, we're going to go through a series of like mini events while pretty much protecting this drill, if that makes sense. And there'll be some servitors with shields on that you'll need to go into your Metaspark in order to break their shields with your super ability. So I recommend always at least one person staying inside of the Metaspark. It doesn't matter who, but as long as you can get those shields down off of the servitors, it'll be good. Once you've taken out all those servitors, you'll get another objective where you'll have to pretty much defeat these enemies surrounding this overshield that's around the mining area. Once you've completed the objective, you can then collect your rewards. You'll then get the Graviton Spike exotic hand cannon, as you can see right here. Also, don't forget, once you get your Graviton Spike, to extract a pattern so you're able to craft it. Now, after that, you'll actually be able to continue the Sieve, as this is seemingly a never-ending like event. But pretty much you can continue fighting more enemies to get even more rewards. And I actually ended up getting another exotic gauntlet after doing it a second time. But yeah guys, it's been Zach from the Concon channel. I hope this video helped you out and thanks for watching.